more aggressive in transition opportunities. North Carolina's offense, in my eyes, the best in the nation, averaging 17 goals per game. Chris Gray, the orchestrator, the conductor. Why? Because he can do so many different things, okay? This is a transfer from BU who can get to the goal for himself, beat his man, and then whoever doubles him, he also always has his eyes up. And he's made this team in the last 2 years dramatically better as a team offense. I love the hustle, and I love the creativity plays. That's the spark that Gray provides. This young man has a little bit of everything in his toolbox. So many different skills, the variety of weapons.
North Carolina wins the opening faceoff. Quinn Kesnick talked about Chris Gray's versatility, all the things he brings to the table. This is a season where we have had to adapt calling games from home, and I hope you saw Quinn Kesnick's adaptation. He used his face mask as a pocket square today, so I hope somebody screen grabs that. But here we are, Carolina Duke, ACC championship at stake. The star power, Gray, Sowers, Bowen, Giles Harris. Great face-off, men, and a great day for lacrosse. Glad we can share it with you here on ACC Network. Carolina with the ball, working from behind. And a feed in front, a shovel shot, and a score. Jacob Kelly, the first tally of this game. It's 1-0 North Carolina.
This offense is completely unselfish. Quint touched on Chris Gray in terms of the way he orchestrates the Tar Heel 6-on-6 set. If you watch his ability and vision, it's off the charts. And Jacob Kelly, I've called him all season long a chameleon. Does a little bit of everything. And off ball, when you're playing with Chris Gray, you always know you can get the ball.
Just in my ear, that's all. Great matchup at the face-off X. Carolina, you'll see Zach Tucci and Andrew Tyre. It starts with Tucci against Jake Naso for Duke. Ket, you got to get out, man. I keep hearing everything you're saying. Ket, it's Anish. I hear everything you're saying.
I tell you, this offense is something else. They've got 9 different players with 10 or more goals, 7 players with 20 or more points. That's the second midfield group. Look at them jog off. This group has been on fire the last 3 weeks. They've equaled the production of the first midfield group. There's no drop-off when the second midfield line gets time.
Last 2 games, Schertzinger and crew, 20 points from the second midfield. You know what you get with Chris Gray. You know what you get with that first midfield, all fifth-year seniors. But when a second midfield emerges come May, it's what championship runs are all about.
Joe Robertson for Duke. And Carolina's going to bring pressure. They're going to ride. Duke off the scramble. It's on the turf, and it's picked up by the Tar Heels and Bowen. Connor Maher to clear for UNC. We apologize for some early technical issues. This is a bit of a dress rehearsal and weirdly something new for us to be back on site.
It's been 432 days since the 3 of us called a college lacrosse game in person together.
High Point, Virginia, late February 2020, a couple weeks before the season ended.
Mike Adler is the goalie for Duke. He's been terrific this year. Chris Gray's shot saved by Adler, the St. Joe's transfer where he was a 3-year starter. And this is the game within the game, how Duke clears and how North Carolina disguises its ride.
Yeah, they disguise with 24 and white, Will Bowen. almost acts like a strong safety blitzing. He will show, he will hide, and he is relentless.
In goal for UNC, the freshman Colin Krieg. He has been one of the top freshmen in the country. Likes to hum songs to himself in the cage.
You got to get the right song stuck in your head if you're a goalie. There's an awful lot of time with yourself during the 60 minutes.
Nakai Montgomery now. Montgomery with a bouncer, and it's vacuumed up by Krieg. Long outlet. That goes awry. Duke almost had it. Ground ball near midfield. And the Blue Devils come away with it.
I like the effort by Michael Sowers, 23 in blue. The way he chased that outlet pass down. He was willing to get himself into that ground ball tussle. 23 in blue, the hero of Duke's last win with some late game heroics, doing some dirty work today.
Sowers only had one goal in the first meeting. Owen Caputo gets Duke on the board.
6 straight games for Owen Caputo hitting the back of the net. We've touched so much on the Carolina second midfield coming to the party, making some noise. Duke has used offensively 9, 10, sometimes 11 midfielders, Quint, finding the gel. Dyson Williams with a gorgeous pass to Caputo, who's just steady Eddie.
I tell you, failure to clear led to this extended possession. Go back, Krieg made the easy save on a kind of a forced Montgomery shot, but he threw the errant clearing pass, and second chances will sting you as a defense.
Naso wins the faceoff, 15 out of 24 in the first meeting against North Carolina. A Duke win in overtime. The Blue Devils 4-1 in conference, all 4 wins by 1 goal, 3 of them in overtime. The only loss coming to Notre Dame. Bounce shot is wide. Joe Robertson will have the backup. He was the hero the first time these two teams played. It'll be Sowers, though, to trigger. Sowers to Brennan O'Neill. Fake the jumper. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Garrett Ledman now. Using the pick, Ledman. Good slide that time, well timed by Carolina, 16 to shoot.
Yeah, good man-to-man defense by the heels. Lacrosse, very similar to basketball. Offensively, beat your man, score a goal, or beat your man, draw a double team, and kick it.
Sowers using the Walsh pick, feeding Ledman. And there for the backup is Riley Walsh. We'll see more of 42. John Danowski telling us he's going to lean a little heavily on his veterans. Saved by Krieg. Springs out of the cage. O'Neill on the ride. He lost his stick. Carolina's got it.
This guy is the real deal for Carolina. Matt Wright, 20 in white, leads the Carolina team in non-face-off ground balls. He's got a 10th gear, and he stays in that gear all game long. I love watching him. Only a sophomore, eligibility-wise, actually only a freshman with getting that year back with COVID-19 in 2020. I think Wright is a superstar of a long-stick midfielder nationally.
Justin Anderson, number 21. 25-year-old fifth-year senior, expecting a baby girl later this month. Coming up on a 4-year wedding anniversary next month. Now Gray, losing Carpenter, skips to Anderson. Great feed. They just could not connect, and it's Carpenter for Duke. Now the vision by Chris Gray, though, on display. Duke's got to get it across midfield before that shot clock hits 60. And they do. Nakai Montgomery using his speed. Accelerating into the box. Montgomery. Quick shot, a save by Krieg. That was Matt Camille on the quick stick, and we get a whistle. Loose ball foul on Duke, or rather Carolina. It stays with Duke.
Good look at the lefty freshman. Love his mindset. super relaxed, incredible work ethic.
Here comes Sowers! And we're tied at 2, and Sowers hit the deck hard. Or maybe that was just part of the celly.
How quick is Michael Sowers? Because this opportunity, Kark, it didn't look like much was there, and then boom, all of a sudden, he's like shot out of a cannon. Watch it. Stutter step, and then gone. Using the pick, unloads and pays the price.
Yeah, firecracker feet, 23 in blue. And you talked about basketball in terms of the offensive orientation. Well, defensively, when Sowers has the ball, Carolina has to play him as a dual threat point guard. A guy, obviously, who can dish and get everyone involved, but creates his own offense with a frightening type of foot speed.
Number 2 pick in the Premier Lacrosse draft earlier this week, and they've done a better job, Anish, of using him in front of the goal in recent weeks.
Face-off violation against Duke. We saw that at the end of the Notre Dame game the last time they played the Irish. 2 late goals from attacking from up top to send that game into overtime. Here's Schertzinger. He's come on of late. What did Joe Bresci tell us? 20 points from that second midfield the last 3 games, and that was the old Maryland possession shot.
Yeah, you see the confidence, though. I mean, that's a kid 6 weeks ago. He wasn't the type of player who was trying to create his own offense. So the success of this midfield now, it's like, all right, who's got the ball? It doesn't matter about the matchups. They all can completely destroy short stick midfielders. And when you have these big bodies, guys like Schertzinger and McCarthy, 32 and white, noise is made.
Here's Gray from the near side. He's got the short stick matchup in Lindsay. Gray pilots from X. Curls around the crease. Skip pass. Good look by McCarthy and a save by Adler. Quint, it's going to be interesting to see when Duke hunts for transition opportunities, because Joe Bresci told us in that first game, Duke had 8 unsettled opportunities, only 1 goal. And North Carolina is going to play up-tempo. They're going to be aggressive, especially if Duke doesn't make them pay for it.
That game had an incredible tempo for 3 quarters, and then it fell on its face in the 4th quarter. It was a 1-goal 4th quarter. I think both teams ran out of gas. I get the feeling that this game's going to be opposite. Slow starting and then pick up in intensity as it matures.
Ledman too high. Well, that's what this game is in a lot of ways. Duke this season, when we've seen them, especially in the ACC, they prefer the 6-on-6 settled sets.
They do, and if you see their midfield now, guys like Ledman, 1 in blue, 42, Walsh. A lot of the season, they were being kind of taking a back seat to the freshmen, right? Guys like Aiden Denenza and Charlie O'Connor, those guys were taking the reps. Now in May, they're here.
The Blue Devils take the lead. It's Joe Robertson who scored the game winner in overtime when these two met the first time.
He's always in the right spot at the right time. You hear so much about Michael Sowers and Brennan O'Neill, rightfully so. Joe Robertson gives you a little bit of everything. Scouter report tells you he's a righty. Well, he can play the high post left-handed and stick it in the bottom. We've got a dandy down in sunny North Carolina.
To sudden victory. That was a night that North Carolina tried to play Joe Robertson with a short stick defensive midfielder, and he made him pay. He had 7 points in one of our Thursday night thrillers.
Joe Bresci, John Danowski on the sidelines. Bresci wearing number 26 in honor of Dave Duffy, who graduated from UNC in 2004, was a defensive midfielder and recently passed away from complications after Achilles surgery.
39-year-older, nicknamed Pancake, Garden City High School. He's an avid golfer, hoping his wife Susan and daughter Charlotte are watching.
One of his college roommates is a good friend of mine, Mike McCall, who's from Yorktown, New York, and spent 4 years with Dave Duffy down in Carolina. He said his energy in the locker room was contagious. You could not ask for a better teammate.
Here's Justin Anderson, now a 3-time captain, to the freshman Cole Herbert. Turned away, it's Tyler Carpenter off the ground for Duke.
You know, you hear that a lot, Tyler Carpenter with the ground ball and starting the offense for Duke. Carolina has Matt Wright. Duke answers with Tyler Carpenter. Very similar in terms of their impact game. Stylistically, very different. Wright's more of a physical presence, and Carpenter a magician with the long stick.
Nakai Montgomery, more than 100 points in his Duke career. Arguably the best passing midi in the country. That looks like an illegal pick. There's Carolina pushing quickly. And that was Matt Wright, Calgary, Alberta native, who played for Brody Merrill at the Hill Academy.
Yeah, this will be interesting, Anish, because they've got Nakai Montgomery trapped on defense at the top of your screen. They have Joe Robertson down at the bottom of your screen trying to sub off.
Yeah, Joe Bresci was saying, we'll see a lot of this. Want to go 5-on-5? We'll go 5-on-5. Now Wright will try to run off, and they may catch Duke here in the sub game. The pass was not on target. Duke able to recover. This one on the run, backed up by Nicky Solomon. Solomon, Kark, is he on your all Dangerfield team?
Yes, fact. And so is Joe Robertson, the no respect team. Like, you look at what Nicky Solomon does. Like Robertson, you could put him in multiple places in the 6-on-6 set. He's got good vision. He finishes with both hands.
Calling it tight on some of these moving picks.
Yeah, it's back-to-back
possessions. Like basketball, your feet have to be set. You can't be a moving picker.
Adler gets it across. Jake Caputo, 6 in blue. Now Michael Sowers, 4th on the all-time assists list. 19 away from Pat Spencer's record. Three straight by Duke after Carolina scored the first 2. Caputo falling down. It's 4-2 Blue Devils. That's 2 for the son of Duke's defensive coordinator.
Carolina's defense, which has improved dramatically in the last 3 or 4 weeks, they leave their defender on the island. Caputo with the rollback, the acceleration, stick protection. He's taken down. That should have been a trip call, but he manages to make this shot after he's being tripped. He gets hit in the heel.
Protect the paint if you're Carolina's defense. And Owen Caputo, you mentioned, Denise, son of Ron Caputo, defensive coordinator, grew up watching this rivalry. Was off to a monster season last year when COVID stopped the year. And as a junior, a staple in this second midfield, coming to life when the calendar turns to May for the Blue Devils.
Loose ball hold on Carolina. 4 straight face-off wins for Duke.
This rivalry's got to mean a lot to a youngster like Owen Caputo, growing up in Apex, North Carolina. He's been around it for all sports his entire life.
Ledman thought about it. Back pedals. That That one hit the crossbar by Robertson. That won't be over and back. It'll be a shot clock reset, but it comes to Carolina. Six of the last 8 meetings between these two decided by 1 goal, including their matchup on April Fool's Day.
You know, we're on site for the first time this season. It's awesome seeing both of you, but being high up here in the box, you can just sense something's going to pop in the sub game today, right?
Yes.
Great to see so many fans here. A couple thousand on the far side.
William Perry on the invert. Checked by Camille. Frizzoli hedging. Perry snakes inside. Did he stay out of the crease?
Yes.
He did. William Perry. Don't call him the mini fridge anymore. He's sub-zero.
Yes. Fifth-year senior playing without one of his line mates. In double sevens, Tanner Cook, well, let me take over. Gets underneath, sells the top side of his dodge, dips, and watch his left shoulder get slippery right here. Zoop! Gets underneath, the toe action. Nails it, Q.
It's a big goal for a first midfield unit today, operating without Tanner Cook, their lefty hammer.
Cook, a game-time decision. We have not seen him. Here's Tucci. Zach Tucci on the season, 4 goals. He's the fastest player on this team.
That's not a kind of a rare trait for a face-off man, and the Heels scored 2 goals directly off of face-offs in the prior meeting with Duke.
Tyler Carpenter defending Jacob Kelly. And physicality here by Caputo. And Perry's pass offline, a turnover. 1.8 seconds to go, opening quarter. Kenan Stadium, final ACC game of the season. No ACC tournament this year, every team with 6 conference games. Krieg the save, and quarter number 1 comes to an end. Carolina got the scoring started early.
Kelly from Gray and Schertzinger, they're up 2-0 about a minute and a half into this ball game.
Yeah, and Duke would answer. It looked like all Heels. Senior superstar Michael Sowers gets to the rack. Owen Caputo with 2. He got action.
(4-3) Duke on top of North Carolina after 1. The Blue Devils win the ACC title outright with a win today. Carolina would share the ACC title if the Heels win. It's the last ACC regular season game this season. It's been an epic season in so many ways, but here are the headlines to know. Going into the postseason, Virginia's going to have 3 weeks before its first NCAA tournament game. I've asked you guys jokingly, who's the best team in the ACC? Both of you had an answer last night at dinner.
Yes, I think it's Notre Dame. I think they're the most complete team. Now, does that mean they're going to win the national championship? No. But if you look at all of the categories, defense, check. Two-way middies, check. Face-off game, check. Attack, check. Obviously with Kavanaugh, there's just no holes.
We're playing this game for an ACC championship. We're also playing it maybe for a number 1 overall seed. Okay, the loser, I don't think can drop below the 3 seed. I think Notre Dame's a 4, Virginia's going to be a 5. I think Syracuse is in the big dance, probably unseeded. The ACC has been thoroughly dominant this year, 33-1, I believe, outside of conference.
You get the sense the top 3 seeds in some order will consist of Duke, Maryland, and Carolina. And I'm with you, Notre Dame and Virginia. However that shakes out will be the 4-5. And then the mystery, 6-8. Still a lot of lacrosse to be played, especially in some of these other leagues. Villanova making a late push. Villanova, which had a big win against Lehigh, they've got a chance, I think, to be a top 8 seed. Syracuse, you know, the schedule, the strength of schedule is there, who they've played, who they've lost to. But how they've lost, now that's got to concern you. Here's Chris Gray, ties it at 4. That might be your Tewaaraton favorite right now.
Mr. Jared Bernhardt at Maryland, he'll get a chance in the playoffs, as will Pat Cavanaugh. I love this spin, okay? It's improv. Everything this guy does is on the fly. There's nothing scripted. Watch him deal with the defensive pressure and spin. And then the tail end, Paul, is just a little subtle look down at the low portions of the net and the high release point.
I was talking to Anish before the game. I don't recall a superstar attackman who has everything in his arsenal in terms of vision, shooting, dodging, who needs the ball in his stick less. Like points per time of possession, if they had that in lacrosse, I think his would be off the charts.
He's a dodger off of ball movement.
Wing play and Tyler Carpenter getting involved for Duke. Andrew Tyre took that face-off for Carolina. Chris Gray came into the game leading the ACC in goals and points, tied for the ACC lead in assists. O'Neal, he's got a great look, denied! Drawbridge closed. Colin Krieg, the freshman.
I tell you, he pumped Krieg, and Krieg totally ignored him. Totally ignored the first fake. He didn't move at all. That's studying your film.
Studying your film, but also if you watch Colin Krieg, when you watch him on film and not the opposition, he is the type of goalie, Quint, and you know the position better than anyone, in terms of not being jumpy and overreacting on fakes and subtleties. He's so calm.
That's a huge trait for young goalies. Good shooters are taught to fake the goalie, get a reaction, and capitalize. Well, if you ignore their fake, all of a sudden the shooter's like, what am I going to do now?
Here comes Anderson, left-hand bouncer. Adler, backhanded shot on the rebound. Carolina still had it. It's Gray. Fresh 80. In a league where there is so much age and experience, you look at what Eric Dobson has done at Notre Dame, what Krieg and O'Neal are doing in this game. And I know they came in with considerable hype, and these were big-time prospects, but to be a freshman playing well in this league in this season, that says a lot.
And not having a high school season the year prior, right? To adapt.
And a fall and winter training schedule that was thrown out of kilter.
Off the stick of Perry, he'll retrieve. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Perry down the alley. Picked up by the short stick. Perry's got one goal on the invert today. Draws the slide over to Gray, stinging corners. And Carolina takes the lead at 5-4.
Ouch. Ouch. Ouch.
Watch Krieg, the goaltender, ignore the big fake by Brendan O'Neal. That right there. He did not change his stance at all.
This is unbelievable. You do it on one end with a freshman, you do it on the other with a senior. You saw Gray operating on his prior goal to the other side of the 6-on-6 set. Now he becomes a stretch shooter. He does that on the high wing as well as any player in the country. There are no holes in his game. Quint, you've been watching the game for a long time. He reminds me of Virginia's Michael Watson from the late 90s.
I would agree.
2.0. Better passer than Watson.
Maybe not as acrobatic around the crease. Nobody could fly through the air like Watson. Tell you, that was great team offense, though, by Carolina. They pressed aside, the double comes, willingness to make the extra pass. Duke's defense was a little slow in their rotations and their recoveries.
Quint, offensively, when it's clicking, have you seen a better team than Carolina this year?
No, as I said earlier, they got like 9 guys with 10 or more goals, 7 guys with 20 or more points, a second midfield, a team that scores off of faceoffs. They score in the riding game. I mean, they score in every way imaginable.
Yeah, and you know, earlier I was saying I think Notre Dame's the most complete team, but like you laugh at yourself when you say that in terms of are they a favorite in the NCAA tournament? Are they the best team in the ACC? Look at these teams. It's ridiculous.
You've got all-time players on the field. You've got Gray, you've got Sowers, you've got Bowen, you've got Giles Harris. We're just getting started. We've got an ACC title hanging in the balance and maybe the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. A week from today, the selection show where the field of 16 will be set. These are the automatic qualifiers, schools that have an AQ, conferences that have an AQ. The ACC does not have one. Q, this is your bracketology. These are the at-large locks.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you got the ACC and the University of Maryland. I think the next group to fill out the final at-large selections, I think it's going to come from Big Ten, Big East, and Patriot League runners-up. Okay, who doesn't get the AQ in those conferences? Whoever's left, second-place teams out of those leagues got a shot for those final at-large bids.
100%. And this week, it's all going to flush itself out in these conference tournaments. You know, you got the 8 at-large, the 5 ACC, second Big East, second Patriot, and I think Rutgers, right?
Coolest thing about this week, though, you got 36 teams playing for 8 spots. I mean, it's an extension of the NCAA tournament. For these schools, this week is the most important of the season. Great drama, great passion.
And we had results this past week, which definitely surprised. Gray turned away by Adler. Loyola taking down Georgetown. Yesterday, Villanova smashing Lehigh, a team that had been undefeated.
Saw a Vermont Stony Brook final online that came down to the last second with a crazy crease call. Just amazing, amazing drama.
Villanova's scary, right? On short rest, they smacked Lehigh because they lost to Denver by 1 earlier in the week.
They're playing better. They're playing
and they
better.
turn around on short rest and beat an undefeated team handedly.
The Big East is one to watch, Q, because if Nova gets hot, and let's say they beat Georgetown and Denver en route to the AQ in the Big East, that's a top 8 seed with that resume. Caputo too high.
We talked, Joe Bresci is on the selection committee. He's one of 5 or 6. They're going to use a 10-member RAC, which is a regional advisory committee of 10 coaches that they've been communicating with on a weekly basis.
Montgomery feeding Caputo right there, but it's taken away by Krieg. Here's the outlet to Will Bowen.
Opportunity
to
with
graduate in May and head to Georgetown to pursue a master's degree. Matt Wright! Oh, Adler!
I love the transition. Really well played by Carolina. They had the trailer.
Here's O'Neal, Amtrakking through the defense, and it's Krieg. The goalie's putting on a show.
Wow.
2 incredible saves.
Did you see O'Neal put his head down and run through 4 guys?
Hot knife through butter. Did you see him get dropped at the end? Carolina playing physical.
He's an anvil on wheels going downhill. William Perry, he's got a cannon. And the backup by Lance Tillman.
Game's opened up. Little out of control, like Anisha's hair.
I need a haircut, Kark needs a meal, and you still need wardrobe advice, so here we are. Cole Herbert, the freshman, number 3 freshman. Gray thought about it. Left-handed shot deflected. Perry picks it up. Tornadoes inside. He's got it knocked away. Tillman out of Colorado, now to the wing. Chris Gray against Matt Camille. Picked up on the switch by Leischau. It's still a short stick matchup for Gray. Looking to draw the defense. He plays catch with Perry. Gray feeding the wing. Anderson, the hammer! Mr. Anderson makes it 6-4.
Fans loving the playmaking here in Chapel Hill. Mike Adler, point blank range with the rebound control, shark bait. And then look at O'Neal trucking through the defense. Krieg from point blank range.
Yep, and look who's taken over as a scorer and a passer. Chris Gray scores 2 in a row, and then he deals to a 5th-year senior in Justin Anderson, who's been around the block. What a wonderful guy, too. I did a relaxing piece with him, and no, it wasn't a jinx. The jinx is done, and he's phenomenal. Did a Mormon mission in Chile. He's got a baby coming in later this month. Had a job lined up in San Diego, but when he had an opportunity to come back with his boys, sat down with his wife. Too good of a team, too good of a moment to overlook and not take advantage.
His wife, Priscilla, well taken care of by the Bresci family.
Yeah, she was cutting hair for the team during the pandemic, a stylist in Chapel Hill. There's McCarthy, the Princeton transfer, feeding inside. Adler there again. Big ground ball. Carolina had it for a moment, falling down. And this is a big backup, and UNC wins the hustle. Closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds. It was Carolina.
That is all hard because Lance Tillman, 0 and white, was well behind Adler when that shot took place, and he just turned on the Jets.
4 unanswered by UNC. Gray has had a hand in 4 of the 6 Tar Heel goals. Here comes Tillman. Comfortable on the invert. Lance Tillman around the bend. And that is 5 straight by Carolina.
How much juice does this guy have? He just sprinted to the end line and totally sold out for his squad. The sophomore from the state of Colorado, used to training in high altitude, I get. Moments later, he uses a quick first step where Joe Bresci thinks, from a sudden perspective when he dodges Quint, maybe the hardest matchup.
And watch the pick right here. Just enough. Frazzoli's got to go top side of that pick, which changes the angle. Tillman hits the Jets and he's gone.
Now Duke's made a change at the faceoff X. Jordan Ginder taking his 2nd straight draw. And Carolina's been pushing downhill. They've had the ball most of this 2nd quarter. And they've got it again. Here's Gray. Over to Wright. Joe Bresci had a lot of praise from Matt Wright, one of the more underrated LSMs. Loved his confidence, his motor, and I thought where Bresci really threw the praise on, he said, he's as good as an LSM as I've had, and Joe Bresci's had some good ones.
Last year, covered their Lafayette game. My notes, tenacity, animal, runs well. Calgary via the Hill Academy, it seems to improve every week.
Herbert pinballs off of Leischel. William Perry, he's got a goal. Back to Gray. Got his man hung up. Gray circles around. Carolina's got Duke milling in retreat right now. Gray. Ooh. Trying to split 2 defenders, and somehow that turned into a shot, but Adler is there. It would seem there the ball may have stuck in Gray's stick a little too long. We don't say that often.
I was going to say that's exactly what I was thinking at that time, Anish, because this team is known for that staccato, that rapid ball movement where they change fields, behind to up top, east to west, north to south. That was a little ball stuck in sticks.
I think the more Chris Gray feels the Duke defense flying out to him will open up his dodging opportunities. But just that approach in terms of where he came out of that switch from right to left, too much pressure.
Riley Walsh. Over to Garrett Ledman, running midfield now with Sean Lowry as well. Ledman had a big goal at the end of that Virginia game to force OT. There's Robertson. 7 points against UNC back in April. Not getting a shorty this time, though. He's got Cam Macri on him. Skip pass. Out of bounds to UNC.
Fans love the D. They should. If Carolina's going to win a national championship, it'll be done on the defensive end. We know what they can do on O. We know what they can do facing off. Love their goaltender. The big question mark for Joe Bresci and the Heels, can this defense play championship caliber ball?
We get a timeout with 3:48 to go. Chris Gray, for my money, hands down right now, ACC Player of the Year.
Yeah, and maybe Tewaaraton winner. Jared Bernhardt, Quint, as you mentioned, might have something to say about it, but it's the versatility of Chris Gray. Offensive spatial awareness, sees the top side, crushes you as a Dodger. Giddy up, let it rain. We saw a similar shot today. And then Quint, it's the vision.
I think what stands out, when the ball's in his stick, he's just looking to create. I don't think he attacks this sport with any preconceived notions or any, I need to go here. He just lets it flow. You know, he's like an artist. He's very improv. In something happens, he reacts. Something that happens off of that, and he flows. You know, he's like water. He flows. Bruce Lee, be water.
He's like you when you get dressed in the morning.
Oh, this was a big one today, baby. Had this one picked out for a couple weeks, knowing that I'd be with you fine gentlemen for the first time in a while.
2 for $1, man.
You know, we saw Quint at the truck earlier, and we said, all right, Quint did a pretty good job today. And then right before we go on the air, he takes his face mask, folds it up, and puts it up into his suit pocket.
It was cool, though, coming to the stadium, getting in the tunnel, seeing some of the coaches.
Yeah.
You felt alive, right? You felt like it was just...
Oh, just to see the players march by us.
Yeah, I saw Riley Walsh.
To see the fans
walk out of the locker room.
Outside the stadium.
And I was like, wow, I haven't seen that kid in like 2 years. Looked like he spent the last 2 straight years in the weight room. Absolutely jacked. You don't feel that physical presence of the players.
We've been so lucky. We've been at home. The fine folks at the ACC Network. Katie at Duke, Slammer at Virginia, and our boss, John Kettering, has done such a wonderful job this season.
Yep.
To allow those games to be televised at such a high capacity, high quality.
100%. I worked with Kristen Hennessy at Syracuse. I thought the ACC control rooms were amazing. They were amazing. What they provided us as announcers, the fans at home, top shelf.
Don't forget Nathan and Derek from Notre Dame and Lauren and Evan from North Carolina as well. The schools have helped us a ton. But I won't lie, it's nice getting ready for a game, coming to the stadium, and 45 minutes before you go on air. Hey, can you take the dog out one more time? Can you put the kid to sleep? Quint's outside weeding. Tillman against Terry Lindsay. Tillman again! Highlands Ranch, Colorado, showing up on a Sunday in Chapel Hill.
They've been partying on Franklin Street all afternoon waiting for this one, and the Heels of delivering. Tillman is speed. Change of direction from 0, boom, 3 steps later, he's freed up his hands. The double team here, Kark, a tad late, and he releases that before the second man gets there.
He's a high school attackman. So Terry Lindsay, the short stick defensive midfielder, he takes him behind the cage, out of his comfort zone, and that's where Tillman spent the majority of his life, growing up as a youth lacrosse player, a high school standout in Colorado. Always making moves and creating offense from behind at X, and now you put him at the midfield, he's your change of pace guy.
Face-off violation on Duke. That's 2. And it feels Carolina has had the ball for the bulk of this second quarter as we come up on 2.5 to play in the first half. Gray plays it to the wing. Cole Herbert cranked up. When they move the ball, you can set this offense to Mozart. You can set it to Chopin. It's a symphony. Anderson against the shorty. Over to Perry, back up top to Gray. Short stick matchup for Chris Gray, down the alley. Gray will commander the offense from X. Gray holds on and scores, absorbing the contact. A hat trick in the first half, 5 points for the Gray Ghost.
Tell you, this one's getting out of control for this Duke defense. But how about Chris Gray, Kark? This play is set up. He knows the double's coming early because he shows the intention. Right here, he made it clear he's going to the goal for himself. Well, here's the double. That JT Giles Harris just takes a poor angle. He kind of olay. Chris Gray goes whoop right there, and he's by him.
He's a two-handed cradle attackman, so he's always shot or pass ready. Duke defense gets in his hands, loses that two-hand control for a fraction of a second, regains it for a sweet snipe. The 76 points, what is he, 5 away from tying a Carolina record right now?
Yeah, he's closing in. At halftime, we will show you highlights from the ACC Women's Championship. It has been a familiar refrain. Jenny Levy's Tar Heels winning the conference championship for a 5th straight season. Highlights of that game against Syracuse. If you missed any of the Syracuse-Notre Dame game yesterday, didn't have to watch for very long, about a quarter and a half. We'll show you what happened in that game. The Orange with a lot going on and off the field. And then our top 5 plays from the ACC season. Our pal Chris Jastrzemski putting the Lax top 5. He's done such a great job with that this season. Go ahead, Quint. What are you going to say?
I was going to say we should rename that segment the top 4.
Whoa.
To be accurate.
Oh. Hey, props to the UNC women's team.
Absolutely.
And props to all of women's lacrosse. I've watched more women's lacrosse this year than ever. And the ACC network, incredible. The amount of games in our announced crew from, Sheehan Stanwyck Birch to Dana Boyle and every single one, Tari and Amari, in terms of the sound on, the halftime segments. I thought women's lacrosse, it was a breakthrough year.
100%. More excitement surrounding the sport, the way it was covered, the way it was presented. Nearly a goal off the face-off there for Tyre. And then the individual talent in the ACC this year. Ortega and Hogue at UNC. Charlotte North is must-watch TV.
Yes.
The Boston College star.
Syracuse's skill, Boston College, their length and athleticism, Carolina's speed. The game's never been in a better place.
Gray's been unstoppable in this first half for UNC. 5 points.
Duke can't win a faceoff.
No.
Duke can't win a faceoff. They're bleeding right now.
Lost 6 of their last 7.
A 19-3 shot advantage for UNC in this second quarter. Seven unanswered by UNC. Herbert will spin it back to Gray.
How about that skip pass?
I mean, JT Giles Harris, preseason defender of the year. He was marking Gray. Brian Cameron, and a 10-goal first quarter for UNC, which is right on their season average. They average 9.7 first-half goals this season.
Have you ever seen Haley's Comet?
Yeah.
No.
Brian Cameron scoring right-handed is the equivalent to Haley's.
Jacksonville game, and our producer John Kettering likes to evaluate some of the commentary and gives you some Vimeo links in terms of breaking down the way that we present it to you back home. And I remember watching that back, and that was the only other time I think I've seen him score right-handed.
He's a lefty, great low wing finisher. Cameron from New Hampshire, his dad, former college player as well.
Here comes Tyre. Tyre had it stick checked away from behind. You can see how Kark beams with pride when a player who has a dominant hand scores with the other hand.
Hey, look, this clown next to me, right? When he broke down my game in 1997, my senior year, he called me a lefty. So what are you talking about?
I hadn't seen the Yorktown tapes, which had you scoring as a senior. Folks, listen to this one. 90 goals, 3 assists. Clark's senior stat line at Yorktown, 90 and 3.
What was the shooting percentage?
I don't know. Come on. You guys just give it to me nonstop.
8 straight goals for UNC. The offense has been humming, but it's been a complete full field effort, Q.
Starts with possessions. Tucci and Tyre, dominant. And then Chris Gray took over this game by winning his matchup. I'll tell you, Colin Krieg stood on his head there 2 or 3 times.
He was incredible. This is what you have to worry about with Tucci and Tyre, though. They're 10 wins this season. Tucci is at 63% in those 10 wins. In the losses, the 2 losses, he's at 35%. Tyre, 56% in the 10 wins, 34% in the 2 losses. When they get into a rhythm, they face off at an elite level. When you give this offense that many more opportunities, it's like, okay, game, set, match.
And you know what goalie has the best save percentage in ACC games? It's the Carolina freshman Krieg.
Interesting stuff.
He's dancing.
This is a Duke team, though. You know, in league play, they've had the Teflon. Down 12-7 against Notre Dame. Rallied to win. They've flirted with disaster in 3 overtime games. So I think better days are ahead for them if they can just get this thing to halftime.
UNC will hold for a final possession. You go with, what, about 15 to get at least a second shot if you need it?
I always think so, yeah. 15 gives you plenty of opportunity.
Schertzinger in front, had McCarthy, who could not hang on. Can Duke get something? Brower. Final seconds, he's got to put it on Cage. Brower bounces it too high. North Carolina closing that first half on an 8-0 run. Duke shut out in that second quarter.
Carolina's bringing the heat. The last game of the regular season. Tar Heels and Joe Bresci ready to go.
If Duke can come back, they would win the ACC title outright. If Carolina holds on in the next 30 minutes, they share the title with Duke. Tar Heels closing the first half on an 8-0 run. Anish, Carr, Quint, all with you, all at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, and it started with faceoffs. Carolina 12 of 16.
Second quarter domination, especially Tucci and Andy Tyre, two-headed monster.
Yeah, don't forget about your boy in the cage, Colin Krieg. He only had 5 saves, statistically nothing earth-shattering, but the quality of the saves gave the Carolina engine Chris Gray the score, Chris Gray the passer, Chris Gray the magician. And then we saw a dose of Lance Tillman switching it up with beautiful athleticism, creative shooting. Quint, Carolina's offense on fire.
7 straight in that second quarter. Thorough domination. Duke going back to the locker room like a boxer who's just been put on the canvas 3 times.
You look at Gray, 5 points, face-offs, ground balls, all in favor of North Carolina. Plus 14 on shots. And a face-off violation against Jake Naso. So Duke had 2 in the first half, now 1 to begin the third quarter. And Duke's going to have to figure out a way to even out the possession game.
Those draws are happening so fast, Clark. The wings aren't even a factor, most of them.
Yeah, and you know, with the new rules, a lot of coaches and players alike will say that it's more of a 3-on-3 face-off type battle. Not today. Tucci, Tyre have been dominant, and they're winning it to themselves.
Solomon over to Gray. Anderson draws the slide. Perry checked into the box score in the first half.
20 on the shot clock. Gray gets around Lindsay. Drew the double. Carolina moves it around to Anderson. Curls around the cage, and Anderson beats Adler upstairs. That's 2 for the 3-time captain.
The Moos are clapping. Turn the corner, take the extra step to greatness. Talk about this league as being a senior, a veteran, a strong league. Well, look at Anderson just deal with this check. It's not bad defense by Brower, but Anderson's just so strong, Clark. He powers right through it.
Dad strength. That is dad strength.
And you see the placement on the shot as well, right? Adler, a righty goalie, caught him low. Where did he stick it? Opposite side high.
A rare face-off win for Duke, and then the Blue Devils turn it over.
Ouch. That will drive a coach bonkers, right? You're getting dominated at the X. You win the draw, you don't win the possession, and you give it back to this offense. And Anish, we were talking about it. On paper, there might be other offenses out there in the country that are more talented, right? Man for man, but pieces to the puzzle and the way they share the ball, this is premier.
Nobody plays better together, Q. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Dave Metzbauer, the offensive coordinator. Guy's got more rings than Tom Brady. He keeps it fresh. He keeps it pretty simple in their patterns.
Jacob Kelly. What is Carolina without a Kelly? It's not Carolina. Kelly gets top side. Adler got a piece of it out of the cage. It's knocked loose.
Ooh.
Gray flying into the crease. And it's a crease violation on UNC.
That was great. We love that. Guys flying around for a loose ball. Nothing like contested ground balls in May.
Now Carolina in its ride, but Duke will clear as UNC backs off, and that's what they do. Sometimes they want you to think they're coming at you and speed you up.
It's like a defensive secondary in football, disguising coverages. Is it zone? Is it man? Are they blitzing?
Yeah.
Is it a 2-high look or a 3-high look? They make it all kind of look vanilla. Keep you guessing.
Dyson Williams, who scored in every game of his career, not today though. It's been a long time since we've called Michael Sowers' name. There's Brennan O'Neill. He's been quiet today without a point. Caputo over to Sowers. And he misses high.
Cam Macri's done a nice job against Sowers. You see 23 now, going to play all the ball, the restarts. Macri.
First time out, borderline gimmick. I'm not going to call it a gimmick, right, in terms of the way they're pressing and shutting Sowers.
Well, that time Sowers, the pretty feed, and Dyson Williams extends that streak. He has now scored in every game of his career.
When the calendar turns to May, the stakes are higher. You fly, you scratch, you claw, you hit your way through every single possession. Michael Sowers does what he does as well as any player you'll see in college lacrosse history. One of the best passers statistically the game has ever seen. And he spots Dyson Williams, 20 straight games, has scored every single time in his college career.
Communication issue with Carolina's defense. I love it when all the defenders like turn and immediately look at one guy like, what are you doing? That was your guy.
2 assists today for Sowers. Now 17 away from breaking Pat Spencer's all-time Division I record. Tucci the face-off. Yeah, that's what you've seen from both Carolina face-off men this season, Tucci and Tyre. Their ability to win the ball to themselves and get Carolina into their offense so quickly. Kenny Brower lost the ball. Bodies flying. Carolina off the scrap heap. Solomon! And that'll belong to Duke. Caputo got rid of it, absorbed a hit.
It's a good clear.
It's a clear.
It's up away from the substitution box, which is on the sideline side of the field. Less traffic, less things change when you clear away from the box. And it was fast, it was immediate. So Carolina couldn't really set up their ride.
You know, Quint, you mentioned if Carolina wins the championship, it's going to be their defense. Props to Kevin Understein, the defensive coordinator. I think this unit has improved dramatically over the season.
You saw that definitely the last time out against Notre Dame, where Carolina won that game on the defensive end. O'Neal still hunting for that first point. Oh, lost his man, Brennan O'Neal! Strong Island, what a move!
Oh boy. Can you smell this one going viral, Kark? Brennan O'Neal, the freshman from St. Anthony's. Watch the defensive reaction here. Plants, shimmies and shakes, wobbly legs.
The swim on the fifth-year senior, Anderson.
Oh,
Smell ya later.
He's got slot back moves from the body of a offensive lineman almost.
Yeah,
He's Kyle Pitts, right?
Yeah.
He's the Kyle Pitts of lacrosse.
Yes, that's actually very well said. He is physically and skill-wise a complete outlier on this field.
What was the refrain we heard draft weekend about Pitts? Matchup nightmare.
Best tight end I've seen in 15 years in person. Linebacker on him, bye-bye. Strong safety on him, too fast. Corner on him, too big. Similar to 34 in blue.
2 straight for Duke after Carolina scored 9 in a row. Man hung up, Caputo feeding Dyson Williams, and Krieg with a denial. Quint, Duke is not a big riding team. Do they need to start to press a little bit more on these Carolina clears?
Well, their ride kicked in late. Remember that Notre Dame game where they forced 3 Irish clearing mistakes late, and that led to that miraculous comeback. I do think the clearing and riding game for Duke is an area where they're kind of vulnerable. It's not a team strength. They clear at, 84%? They don't generate very many turnovers through their riding.
Opponents clear at 86% against Duke. Look at the ball movement. Yeah, the
That's
shot by
perfect,
Kelly.
right? You see a dodge, 2 pass on the perimeter, jam inside. I mean, that is picture perfect offense.
Oh my God.
You all right?
Yeah, I thought he pulled that play off. That was a.
If Duke wins, they win the ACC title outright, which would be an amazing accomplishment given the caliber of teams this year. If Carolina wins, they would share the ACC title with Duke, and these 2 teams would be the only teams to beat every other team in the ACC this year. Ledman, now O'Neal. Feeding Ledman on the inside. Krieg, another save from point-blank range.
That's where you go behind the back, right? You catch that ball, you're going downhill, you're losing your angle with your right hand, you stick that behind the back.
Macri trying to stay with Sowers. Pick by Ledman. Sowers gets free. Here's O'Neal. Time, room, hammer.
Ooh.
Off the mark. Ledman devoured. Now that's Connor Marr. The punt return clear. UNC looking to go quickly. Now they'll have to reset. Duke forces the turnover. Let's see if this is an unsettled chance for the Blue Devils. Here comes O'Neal. Bounce shot save, Krieg. From too far out.
I love the save. I mean, Quint, what'd you think? It looked like it was a little bit low and away. O'Neal and Krieg, though, this matchup.
It's fun.
It's fun, and Krieg has the upper hand if you look at the game, right? The overall game, he's been able to match O'Neal's deception. He's not biting on anything.
I wonder what their history is, Clark. Krieg from Ward Melville, public school in Suffolk County, Long Island. O'Neal, St. Anthony's Catholic League, Long Island, from Bay Shore.
Anderson on the inside roll, almost had a hat trick. Would have been his first of the season. Who's the freshman of the year in the ACC? Schellenberger, O'Neal, Krieg, Hiltz, Dobson, moving pick.
Schellenberger's a redshirt freshman.
But he still would be eligible for the award.
I think you have to give it to O'Neal.
I was going to say Krieg.
Well, you're a goalie. I'm an offensive player.
If they win this game.
So Q would go Krieg and you would go Schellenberger?
No, I would go O'Neal.
O'Neal.
I mean, he's Duke's leading goal scorer as a true freshman. And Krieg's been phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's certainly one of those awards where it's hard to argue, right? It's hard to argue either.
Dyson Williams falling down. And we get our first penalty marker of the game with 5:06 to go in the third. It's been pretty clean so far.
White 16 hold, 30 seconds down. White 16 hold, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
What do we got here, Q?
Got a hold.
It's a hold on Sean Morris.
It was
So Duke on the man up, 45% this season.
It was an ineffective hold.
Yeah. Thought he could have gotten for a slash.
Sowers. That one hit the pipe. Picked up by Carolina. Carolina's got the best man-down offense in the country. 6 man-down goals. Almost 7. I tell you what, when you go man up against UNC, don't think Carolina doesn't think that's an opportunity for them to score. Chris Gray, by the way, has 3 of those 6 man-down goals. McCarthy, the Princeton transfer, where he played with Michael Sowers of Duke. Schertzinger, skip pass. McCarthy caught it on his knees, got the shot off. Gray, another short stick matchup. Adler the save. Carolina gets it back into fresh 80.
I was impressed with Carolina's clock and score awareness in their recent win over Notre Dame. Thought they really managed the late stages of that game well. They didn't stop attacking. They just kind of slowed things down to make sure they're eating into each of the shot clocks.
UNC scores again.
Look at the low-angle shooting ability of the fifth-year grad student transfer from Princeton, Connor McCarthy. Strength, size, spatial awareness, Quint.
How's he sneak that one in?
North Carolina doubling up Duke. Number 3 on top of number 2, 12-6 in a season defined by so many close games in the ACC. Starting to see some blowouts down the stretch. As we look at the top 10 in the media poll, Maryland undefeated, the heavy favorite in the Big Ten. And then you've got Duke, Carolina, Notre Dame. Lehigh suffered a loss over the weekend to Villanova, 11-20. Army's got that early season win against Syracuse. That win value, though, has faded some. Can't forget about Navy, which has an Army win.
Championship week, 36 teams battling for 8 automatic qualifiers. Karka, I'm looking at the America East. UMBC, Albany, Vermont, and Stony Brook is like just amazing games.
You even saw it in the 10-20, right? You had the 3 of those teams just sandwiched right there in Stony Brook, UMBC, and Albany. And don't forget about Vermont in that tournament, right?
Yeah,
They've been the Albany killer. Beat them twice this season.
Those games will be on ESPN Plus from UMBC in Catonsville.
Who's the TV guy here? Get your shit together, all right?
What'd you say earlier? A couple days ago, we got to May.
We made it.
We made it.
We didn't get this far last year.
Hey, I wouldn't have made it without you guys last year at this time. Those weekly Zoom calls we did,
Yeah.
huge. Thank you guys.
No, thank you. I mean,
Flag down.
as much as every one of these guys that were part of a team, so many different teams for people in this world, whether it's family, professional teams like the 3 of us, like you had to lean on each other a lot over the last year. You had to, man. It was not easy for anyone.
John Danowski brought that up on our call. You know, we're just celebrating that we're still able to play. Like, wow, we played a full season of games. I never would have guessed that when this season started. And he pointed to all the people behind the scenes, their athletic director, the trainers, the ops people who are doing testing 6 times a week. I mean, it takes a village, and all these teams are supported by a village.
The parents, right? These parents are accustomed to traveling every single week to watch their kids play in all different sports across the country, and at the college level, like that was put on hiatus. Duke had no fans at any of their games this year.
Sowers to O'Neal with the extra man. Yowza.
This is scary. It's a young man who verbaled Penn State when he was in 8th grade. Okay, the comparisons to Zion Williamson in the size, the high school highlights, they were viral and eye-popping. I mean, it was like a weekly basis. You logged on to see what Brennan did this week. Well, we've learned as a college player he can ride, he can pass, he can dodge, he can shoot, he can run. The ceiling is limitless.
Yes, as a freshman, the last time I've seen someone with a blend of size, strength, and skill was 1987 at Syracuse at Gary Gait. I am not saying he's the next Gary Gait. But Quint, in terms of that blend, right? Have you ever seen someone since Gary Gait when he put 5 on Cornell in the semifinals as a freshman? That's when he arrived, right? This kid arrived earlier in his freshman campaign. He's not the next Gary Gait. Gary Gait's the greatest player of all time. But in terms of the way he blends the size, the speed, and the skill, it's scary, right?
Yeah.
When have you seen it?
No, you don't see it. And I think in all sports, Anish, we build up these high school stars, and they kind of don't live up to the hype and the expectation level. I think Brennan has.
He has. And if you talk to people, his work ethic is relentless. He's nonstop.
Well, two things. One, Quint, know your surroundings. Here in Chapel Hill, you say the ceiling is the roof. The other thing, that was a missed opportunity for Duke. They had some momentum, a bit of a 3-1 run. And the Blue Devils playing with a little more purpose, a little more energy here in the last few minutes. They get the ball back. Strong defense from the short sticks. What have we learned in the ACC? Never say never. And Duke able to clear. A minute to go in the third. Can Duke close to within 4? Quint, 12-7. That was the score against Notre Dame when Duke came back.
Been there, done that. That day it was Nakai Montgomery and Michael Sowers getting the thing going.
Montgomery has been awfully quiet today. Sowers has 3 assists and a goal. Here is Sowers. Sowers against Macri. 10 seconds. O'Neal gets it back from Walsh. O'Neal driving down the alley. Plays it back to the middle. And time expires. Shot clock violation, 0.6 of a second. Unless, do both teams think the quarter is over?
Officials have the sticks. That's a wrap.
Yeah. Did we rob you of 0.6 of a second? Maybe. We'll never know. We go to the fourth quarter in Chapel Hill, Carolina by 5. Fourth quarter in Chapel Hill. Duke will need a comeback. We've seen comebacks from the Blue Devils this year.
Thursday night thriller with Mike Adler making the save. And then it was Joe Robertson taking down this Carolina Tar Heel squad with 7 points in the game winner. Robertson did it again in extra time. And then Camulay, the extra man goal in OT. He played for 3 seconds in that game, folks. He scored the game winner. They were down 12-7 and rallied.
If you've learned anything about the ACC, you look at the score right now. Not for a second do you think this game is wrapped. We've seen it way too many times throughout the course of the season. 12-7 is nothing.
It builds like a tidal wave in each two. It builds like a tsunami. It's a subtle play after subtle play, a spark play, and then momentum swings.
Duke will have it first to begin the fourth quarter. UNC 13 more shots, both goalies with 9 saves. Carolina has controlled the X, winning 14 out of 22, but Duke won 4 of 6 in the third quarter. Dyson Williams. Over to Brendan O'Neal, 2 goals today. 11 multi-goal games on the season for the freshman. There's Joe Robertson. He's been quiet today. At 7 points the first time. Robertson had a goal in the first quarter during a 4-0 Duke run. The Blue Devils led 4-2, then Carolina scored 9 straight. Sowers to Dyson Williams, behind the back.
Do you remember in the third quarter when Garrett Ledman caught the ball in a similar spot with the right hand? And I said he should have gone behind the back to increase his angle. Well, leave it to Dyson Williams, the slick Canadian. No need to ever change it in your right hand. Your angle will be the same as if you switched and put the stick in front of your body and canned it righty. but it's quicker, it's more deceptive, and he sticks it.
Lefty, sophomore out of Canada, played for the Hill Academy. He's the greatest kid. He's sincere, he's humble, high-ranked recruit, number 3 coming into Duke. He's moved from attack to midfield. Reminds me a lot of Zach Greer, one of the all-time greats, and one of my favorite Blue Devils.
Very similar style-wise. Good call.
Duke wins another face-off. Push against UNC, so the Blue Devils will go man up, and hey, there's a lot of time left, and it's only a 4-goal game.
Yeah, 12-7 is a joke in this league going into the 4th quarter. You get the one right away.
You've watched a few ACC games this year.
Oh, man. I couldn't sleep when we televised those Thursday night games.
Yeah.
We're off the air at like 9:30.
Yep.
I honestly could not sleep like all those games. Waking up on Friday mornings, 4 a.m. Oh.
Sowers from X. Nakai Montgomery with a bouncer. And Macri beats Sowers.
That was close. Macri was closer to the end line / sideline, but to the ball, what do you think, Quinn?
Where's the ball?
Where's the ball? Hard to tell
I
from
think
that
it was
angle.
clearly Macri.
It's closest to the ball.
And I think that was the right call. And when you saw the tail end of it, looks like the ball went out actually at the far end line.
What a pass.
Where the sideline meets.
What a catch by Perry.
All those geometry classes you took up at SU.
Solve for Y.
It was tough to concentrate this time of the year in May as a lacrosse player. I'm not going to lie to you. Finals.
How was that different than February for you? Offsides on Duke. Looked like they had a bargain on a yard sale.
Some great farmers markets here in Chapel Hill. And yard sales when the weather perks up.
This guy, I asked him what he was doing for lunch. You know what he ate for lunch today? Carrots. Carrots.
Carrots, almonds, and some dried cranberries.
Yeah, sounds like a lot
Let's
of
be
fun.
honest though, if we said before the trip one of us would skip out on lunch for carrots, who would you have guessed, Quint or me? Carolina and Schertzinger cleaning up.
That's a big goal. That's a huge goal in this game. Because you got the feeling that things were slipping away. Yard sale. Ball on the carpet, but it comes back up Carolina's way, ultimately. And the heels. This is kind of an ugly goal off the scramble in front. Ball squirts out. Keep it simple. Schertzinger on the scene. Keep it simple, Henry.
Joe Bresci said his middle name is Keep It Simple. He is such a talent. When he lets the game come to him and when he doesn't overthink it, he's got a chance to be special. And he has been an energizer on that second midfield down the stretch.
Yeah, I think he's been awesome. You know, McCarthy showed flashes early in the season, middle of the road, nicked up a little bit. And then I thought that Virginia game is when the second midfield really came to life heading into May in a postseason run.
6', 200, Cincinnati. The Cincinnati kid dealing with a hammy issue that slowed his progress in February and March, and he's learning how to shoot. He pops on tape. Schertzinger pops on tape.
Joe Robertson, a couple of steps too high. Sowers, a 5-point afternoon.
Sowers looks so fast on turf, Clark. He's got his ability to plant.
Finding Ledman. Michael Sowers, we saw him take over late against Notre Dame. He has had a hand now in 4 of the last 5 Duke goals.
At Princeton, Quint, you called it, the turf. They play on synthetic grass. At Duke, he's on a slicker, all-natural track. The first step is silly, but what I love about Michael Sowers, when he comes out of the move, he is pass ready. The suddenness with his feet into the flowing motion, with his arms into a pass, and the head is always up. His father, Dave, coached him since he was a young buck, and he taught him the right way to play lacrosse.
Tap dancing, hockey stop. Next thing you know, it's step down city.
Grad transfer out of Princeton, the most sought-after transfer in the offseason. Princeton's all-time leading scorer. Also had the 3 highest single-season point totals in the proud history of the Tigers. Duke won the face-off, but Carolina picks up the ground ball. Big possession. We come up on 10 minutes to play. 4th quarter. And UNC nearly turned it over. Sowers and Gray, all the stars are out on Sunday.
So fun to watch these two. Stylistically,
Very different.
very different.
Yeah. They're like you and me, carrots. You ate carrots. I ate a veal Sorrentino last night. Little pork belly. Carrots.
Chris Gray, though, does not have a point in this second half. All 5 points in the first half. Now Schertzinger looking for the hat trick. Schertzinger inside. Adler there for the save and a whistle. We get a flag down.
Nice close look at Mike Adler. St. Thomas Aquinas, Florida.
Blue 33. Blue 33. Legal procedure, 2-minute long goal. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 33.
Survived a sharp attack to this young goaltender when he was, what, 16? 16, 17 years old?
Yeah, back in 2013.
Oh, younger.
50 stitches, tore 5 ligaments. And to tell you that he is a goalie, he still surfs.
Madness.
Fearless. Fearless Q.
His friends went back the same day.
Yeah, it was big waves, right? I saw that feature on ACC Network. It was fantastic. Friends went back.
Anderson lost his man! Justin Anderson!
I got great fans here. When the weather perks up, nothing like coming down to Chapel Hill and playing a big-time college lacrosse game. Duke's pressing out. They're trying to make a play. Carolina was ready for it. They handle, and you see Adler almost gets a piece of that. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does.
It went off his shoulder or his chest, and he just wasn't square enough to the ball there, and deflects off your arm or shoulder into the net.
Justin Anderson, actually from Las Vegas, not Greenwich, Connecticut. That's Will Perry from Greenwich, Connecticut. But I loved how he rolled and kept it in his right hand the whole time. And if you look at the placement of that shot, stings it on that offside pipe of Adler.
First hat trick of the season for Anderson, who had 7 multi-goal games entering play. Let's see if Duke can attack quickly. Sowers with his man hung up, feeds the wing. Caputo could not get enough separation to get the shot off, and now it's O'Neal. He's got a short stick matchup against Marr.
Bowen's looking to slide. You see 24 in white ready to go to support this matchup.
Yeah, he's playing center field. Brennan O'Neal from an impossible angle. 3 for the freshman, and that was all an individual effort.
Watch the cat and mouse, okay, because he sees Bowen there, so he's not going to dodge to the middle of the field. He drops steps right there, and then he becomes an alley dodger to really change the trajectory of how Bowen, 24 in white, supports that matchup. In the beginning stages of that, he felt the cluttered inside presence of the Carolina defense, Right down the alley, Q.
His third, capitalizing on the matchup, getting down the alley, down that hash mark. It's a good guide for young midfielders when you play on a football field.
The face-off won by the heels after the O'Neal goal. It's Andrew Tyre. Let's play a little what if. If Carolina holds on from a seeding standpoint next Sunday, where do UNC and Duke end up?
Again, 1, 2, 3. Carolina or Maryland, I would believe, would be the 1, 2. Duke would be the 3. Duke wins this game. I think Duke would be the 1, Maryland the 2, Carolina the 3.
I would agree with that.
Big save. Trippy gets it back, new 80. Less than 8 minutes to go in regulation.
It's a ridiculous save.
Adler had a slow start to the season, and then he got into a groove. This is the best goalie Duke has had by far in the Danowski era. Justin Anderson, Adler there again. Catapults out of the cage, and then catapults the ball upfield.
His 12th stop, where he has grown the most, is out of the net. His ability to scoop up grounders and make accurate outlet passes.
Brother Max, older brother who's a face-off specialist, picked up in the draft over from the MLL to the chaos coached by Andy Towers in the PLL. When you have an older brother and the younger brother's the goalie, you know, Q.
You know, Cart.
Yeah.
Shut up and get in the goal.
Yep, that's what we told my brother Brian. That's what your brothers told you. No choice. Toughens you up, man.
Duke trying to close to within 3. Joe Robertson.
Ooh.
15 to shoot. Sowers with 5 assists. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Sowers. Feeding inside. Ledman. Stonewalled.
The fans here know how important that stop was. They give that defensive possession and the clear a big ovation.
Now, Duke was looking to get to within 3. They have not been that close since it was 7-4 in the second quarter. A 9-0 run by UNC spanning the end of the first quarter all the way into the third quarter gave Carolina separation. The Heels have led by as many as 7.
Little hangman situation, top of your screen, leaving a 5-on-5 in the half-field set.
And Joe Bresci likes these sets. Perry against Lindsay. Shot clock in single digits. Perry looking to turn the corner. Here's Anderson. His shot hits Lindsay, who goes down. That'll be a shot clock violation. Duke ball. Caputo on the clear. He's hassled. Carolina's ride gets it back.
Oh, clip that baby. 3 hustling attackmen. Like a pass rush, engulfing a quarterback.
You know, I think this year more than ever, the spotlight on riding attackmen is an all-time high. Like, if you are an elite scoring attackman, when you put that whole riding aspect part of your arsenal, it's a respect thing. The best attackmen are the best riders.
Bresci told us they've ridden the ball back 19 times in ACC games for 9 goals.
Yeah. Yesterday we were watching Michigan and Ohio State. Bryce Clay.
How about 20 for 10?
It's all about effort. You know, the attack guys get their name in the newspaper for scoring goals and dishing assists. But this team's come to play defense today.
The Carolina way. You don't just do it on the defensive side of the field. Your offense needs to be hungry. A bunch of pit bulls swarming to the rock. The heels are smelling it.
Well, let's take a look at today's Player Spotlight, brought to you by New York Life.
Chris Gray has advertised, doing it in a lot of different ways, whether it's the vision, the shooting off the dodge, the step down, ripping corners, the eyes up, finding a teammate, making everybody better. He has, from the moment he stepped on this campus, he's elevated this offense. He's made everybody better, and he's let the game come to him, and it's been so fun to watch.
He defines let the game come to you.
He is the ACC Player of the Year. And you can point to so many numbers. The one that jumps out to me, when he set foot on this campus, Carolina's 17-2 and 3.5 minutes away from being 18-2 with Chris Gray. They got a procedure call against Duke. "77 points now, 4 away from UNC's single season record for Chris Gray. Carolina with a win. Looking at, what, at worst a 2 seed?
Worse. Yeah. Could be a 1.
Could be a 1. You look at the resume. They beat Denver by 11 goals, beat Virginia, beat Syracuse, beat Notre Dame. Only losses to Duke on the road in overtime and by a couple of goals to UVA.
They did it in a conference that was what? At a conference, 33-1, was it?
Something
One
like
loss.
that, yeah.
Army's win against Syracuse, that was it. Bounce shot by Dyson Williams. It's 15-11.
Sowers picks up another assist.
He's got 6.
Duke will respond. They'll reset. They'll have the week off heading into the tournament. And Sowers, I think the last 3 to 4 games has really changed in terms of his comfort level with this offense. Anish, you mentioned earlier, he's dodging from a lot of different spots in the offensive sets. His vision is supreme. And come tournament time, I just feel like he's going to take his game to even another level.
That's why he came to Duke.
Yes.
He had never played in an NCAA tournament at Princeton.
Princeton's offense revolved around Michael Sowers. He's had to find his way with this Duke group. Sowers has had to find his Duke self.
Yeah, that's what John Danowski said.
Coach Dino told us this week. It's taken some time.
Sowers using the Walsh pick to Robertson. It's not there. Alexander and Sowers tussling for the ground ball. Sowers has it, new shot clock. Not that that matters for Duke. There's a sense of urgency with 1:52 to go. Final ACC game in what has been A memorable season in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and Duke says, we're not done yet. Joe Robertson gets Duke to within 3 with $1:43 left.
This is when you're a Carolina player, you're staring up at the clock, and it just won't go away. Won't go down to zeros yet. Riley Walsh, Joe Robertson on the cut. This game is still there for the taking.
You look at Riley Walsh with the pass there. He hasn't played as a significant role in the offense this year, maybe as years past, but Coach Danowski mentioned that the veteran leadership in their midfield is starting to take over, increased minutes. For Duke to make a run at a national championship, they're better when Riley Walsh is on the field.
Programming note, ACC baseball follows us. Big game, Virginia and Virginia Tech. Rubber game of that 3-game set. UVA, preseason top 25, really struggled early in the season. They've won 3 of their last 4 series. If they can beat Virginia Tech, win their next 2, UVA's got a chance to get in. That follows us on ACC Network. The start of that game can be seen on ACC Network Extra, so head to the app if that's what you're looking for. But you are welcome to stay with us for the final 143 in regulation.
Who was your team in the ACC baseball? You said Louisville?
Louisville, yeah.
You thought they were the best?
Yeah, they got to get their pitching healthy, especially their middle relief. But Louisville has the best chance to make a deep run in Omaha. Big face-off win. Here's Tucci. Tucci all the way. Carolina's got the backup. He had a few more paces he could have taken. I know, Quint, you're going, why'd you shoot? Adler out of the cage. Carolina will try to squeeze some time.
Yeah, he's got a point, because then it allows Duke to set into their defense, right? As opposed to the sub game and killing more time.
Schertzinger using his speed. Schertzinger on the empty net, hit the pipe. Anderson bails him out.
It's a reset.
New shot clock. Carolina can take this down to 0-0. Anderson has a stick checked away. Here's Carpenter for Duke. Less than 50 seconds. Carpenter over to O'Neal. Carpenter took a hit.
Bowen.
Wow. Bowen. Carolina ball.
Slow to get off the canvas.
Strong safety, Will Bowen. Smack.
Now, there was a physicality to the first game between these two. We've seen quite a bit of this, and that is clean.
I love that.
That is clean.
Yeah. Bowen's
No
beast.
cross-check involved.
No.
He turns his hips and uses the shoulder.
Textbook.
That is a great example if you're a young player
and you know
how
what?
to deliver a clean, safe hit.
And credit the refs for not throwing the flag, because a lot of times they see the impact and the blow-up of a hit like that, right? It's just their second nature.
That's respect for the game. It's
Yes.
respect for your opponent. He could have taken his head off, but it's not the right play. It's not in the best interest of this game. I love this. Look how he uses his shoulder and doesn't bring the stick up high in any kind of cross-checking motion. Beautiful textbook hit.
Will Bowen is graduating this month, and his graduate program of choice is not offered by UNC. So he is going to go transfer to Georgetown. And Joe Bresci was joking with us. Kevin Warren, Joe Bresci said the Georgetown head coach needs to send Bresci a present every day for the next few years.
Warren,
Look at that kid.
I've said it
Look at
before.
that kid.
Kevin Warren, if you're watching, don't mess this up, man. That is a defensive player of the year type talent, man. An absolute beast.
And he's got, what, 3 years left at Georgetown?
Yes.
Graduating early.
Hurt. He was hurt in 2019. He got a red shirt. 2020, COVID. This is his first full season that he's used up.
So he's listed by UNC as a sophomore, but eligibility-wise, he's a third-year freshman. Sowers here in the final 40 seconds.
Sowers on turf. He's a different animal, Carp.
Yes, he is. Hey, boys, we're going to be quick off the air, going to a baseball game. I want to say it's been great being back with both of you. On site, smelling the food, seeing the fans. It's May. Lacrosse is back, man.
Amen. Carolina's defense stepping up in the final seconds. UNC and Duke will share the ACC title. Every game, every week in this league felt like Clash of the Titans all the way until the very end. What a treat it's been covering ACC lacrosse in 2021. For Quint, for Kark, it's Anish saying farewell from Chapel Hill. Glad you could hang with us. ACC baseball, rubber game, Virginia